I'm telling you, Sam, it's fucking ridiculous. I hate tolls. Like when you're driving down the highway, oh, look, it's a fucking toll. I'm going to go pay this person a few dollars to go past them. Like if my players came up to me and they're like, okay, hey, where are we going next? Oh, well, sorry. There's a guy in the road and you got to pay the toll to get into Waterdeep. Yeah, you got to pay the troll toll to get into this Always Sunny. Yeah, fucking Always Sunny. Danny DeVito's a national treasure, not going to lie.
Truly.
There was a part of me that was secretly hoping that you were going to say the end of it.
Boys hole.
Everybody knows what that scene is.
Everybody knows. But all I'm saying is, like, if I put down a toll situation in one of my fucking campaigns, trust and believe my players are going to be all like, yo, why are we paying this man gold to walk by? Let's just murk him and hide the body.
I'm fully expecting you to kill this man.
Yo, absolutely.
Even if it's the smallest amount, like they have thousands of gold, and like it's like, oh, okay, it's 1 copper to pass by. Absolutely like, not the principle of the thing.
Yeah, it's like, what is this extortionist shakedown that you're running? And the reason that I'm very on about this toll situation isn't because I had to pay $10 in tolls because I had to take a test this morning. It's because my wife took a trip. You know how she went off with the in-laws for a little trip a couple weeks ago, Sam?
Yeah, you mentioned it, I believe.
Well, we got one of those Easy Pass things, and we got a little notification. She was checking things out because I was going to have to go on my trip. And come to find out, when they passed the Washington Bridge, care to guess how much the toll for the Washington Bridge was?
Well, for a big one like that, I imagine $5 or so.
38.
38?
What?
38.
How dare they? That's
right? Apparently, in certain locations, they have surge pricing for tolls at certain times of the day, like Uber.
Holy.
Like, I expect surge pricing on a holiday for Uber if it's like 3 a.m. and ain't nobody want to be out at 3 a.m. driving alcoholics around so they don't crash themselves into a ditch. But to cross a bridge, dude, if I slap that shit in my players, they would have murked the dude, no question asked. Be a lawful good party. They'd be doing the world a service.
You know, pushing like a riddle is like pushing the limit. They're like, maybe we'll humor this.
You tried a riddle last session.
I did try a riddle.
If our druid didn't accidentally get it right, straight believe that Micah would have just murked the gargoyles.
They would have tried.
Hearing like $38, I like instinctually pulled up the stat blocks and stuff for like Fireball, because I'm like, all right, ready to cast that.
Absolutely. You got to at that point. It's like there's something intrinsically wrong there, and I blame the government.
What will they not do? How much further can they take it?
Who won't they fuck for a quick buck? The government.
Damn.
Let's start the show. Welcome to Dungeons and Talkshows, the talk show that brings you dungeons news and homebrew. Oh, forgot the monsters again, Sam.
I'll get recognized one of these days. It's okay.
One of these days.
Today is a special occasion, as it is Revenge of the Sixth, I believe. Happy Star Wars Day, guys.
You say that like you're not a Star Wars dude.
All right. I may get us canceled for this, but I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan.
Gasp.
That's like a woman that doesn't like Harry Potter.
Okay, but you know what? The Clone Wars were pretty hot.
Okay, yeah, the Clone Wars were pretty hot, but you know what else is pretty hot?
What else is pretty hot?
Some of the homebrews coming out of our guest tonight.
I thought you were gonna say the guest tonight.
Oh.
That's what I would say.
A missed opportunity. Come on.
You know what? It might be, but my gayness is kind of on a lunar cycle. And like, I'm in my car right now.
You know, Pluto's in retrograde, man.
I'm looking outside. I don't see no moon tonight, Sam.
I believe it was the full moon, 2 nights ago?
Well, that don't work for the gay wolf.
The gay wolf.
Yeah, it's like a werewolf, but like when a full moon, like you unleash the gay beast within. And, woo!
We're all attracted to good homebrew. Who isn't?
I mean, that's very cool.
Oh, absolutely. I'd go so far as to... No, I wasn't joking. I'm actually in my fucking car right now because like I'm in between paychecks and like I got hit hard with bills last pay period, so it's like the internet's gonna have to suffer this week. Damn you, bi-weekly.
The American work system.
Yeah.
Curse
Once
you!
again. If only I could go slay some goblins for some quick coin.
When I was younger, I used to be like, yeah, if I could have any spell, it would be like lightning bolt or like something that destroys. And now I'm like, I would love magnificent mansion. I would settle for tiny hut.
Every generation has their favorite spell that they want in real life. The millennials just happen to want magnificent hut.
Yeah.
Look, let's be real here, guys. We can all agree. Heroes Feast.
Oh, yeah. But who can afford that 1,000 gold chalice? It's just
God,
so
you're
much.
so right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been a fan of taking prestidigitation, and like most reasonable people, but hear me out. You take a decent level healing spell that lets you like cure diseases and ailments, and so what if you can only use a couple times a day? Start a Patreon and just go around free healing people and plugging your Patreon.
It's not free if you plug the Patreon.
It's absolutely free.
This is how cults start.
Just, sometimes you got to ask yourself, what Patreon tiers would Jesus have?
There's definitely a transmutation of water to wine.
Yeah, like, dude.
Healing the
That's how you start a party.
If Jesus had a Patreon.
I once heard a very compelling argument for Jesus being a vampire.
I did hear that too, honestly. No disrespect to the religionals,
I've never heard this one.
What if Jesus was like, he could have been? Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. That, drink my blood, immortality, and that's pretty sus, my guy. That's some vampire shit.
Killed by there's something with 40 silver. That's werewolves, but same thing in my mind.
There's a lot of stakes, man.
I'm a big fan of silver when it comes to vampires and werewolves because I have a working theory on the subject.
Oh, please.
Okay, so silver has this property of being antimicrobial, right?
Yes.
Antimicrobial silver. Now, vampirism and lycanthropy in many different facets of media and fiction are often considered a form of disease. For example, in Skyrim, if you have either one, you are immune to all diseases because you already have this disease that's kind of taking over everything else.
Yes.
They are also, in some cases, like I think in the blood hunter sense, lycanthropy is a blood curse.
Yes.
Where it is kind of a blood disease, but it's also a spiritual blood curse.
Yeah. So, I would say that you're probably right in those regards for sure, because in a lot of cases it's just like some kind of curse, but in the many iterations that it's a disease, it kind of makes sense that I'm gonna stick this motherfucker with a with something that's antimicrobial. Kill the disease at a microscopic level.
Right.
So, in a way, you're saying that holy water is essentially hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Why do you think no vampires were out and about in the height of COVID?
There we go. Yeah. We were all impacted, but most of all vampires. This week we'll be supporting vampire.
okay, hear me out. Hear me out. What if all plague doctors were actually just vampires?
Explain their amazing fashion sense in those masks.
Exactly right, and they were lifting it up with all the sick people. You know, they were like, "Oh, look at y'all."
Well, you know what? Immune to disease, it checks out. And if they were like some kind of hummingbird situation, that kind of works.
Oh, like the enemies I had you guys fight in that one session.
Yeah, just like you open the tip of the beak and you get like this little hummingbird, like, and then you get all the blood.
Yeah, you guys like it was very interesting. You guys watching its like, beak like opened up and it had like this proboscis.
He's talking about the last time he played a plague doctor in one of our campaigns.
Nice.
No, it was the what was it called? Dark Feather in my Grim Hollow campaign.
Very cool. I'm just picturing the thing from Alien, you know, like, the alien from Alien, where it like opens up and then another like little mouth comes out.
Exactly right. And okay, so that was really interesting, and I was so proud of our warlock. She used her shape change or whatever to look like a little girl, you know, to lure it in so she could talk to it. And it like lured her back to his house. Literally a stranger danger situation. Right? And it was like, you know, what are you doing all alone? It's not safe out here. And then, you know, blah blah blah. And then like it goes to like start to eat her when she starts getting all sussy. And then you guys break in and it's like and then, you know.
Yeah, that was a wild session.
So fun.
But, you know, we're going so far from the weeds, like, we're not even taking the time to have our guest properly introduce himself.
Sorry, tangents. You know, we really just away.
We all got into the weeds, into the holy thickets. Hello, I'm
holy thickets.
I'm BJHypes, creator of Homebrew. The Ridiculous Blacksmith is my name on the internet sometimes.
I've been your name wrong this whole time. Lie to me.
That's just a little nickname I was given on Reddit. And is the proudest I've ever been for being given a nickname. But I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, like I said before the show, I'm a big fan of your work, although like I was kind of introduced to it via the various arrows, because like there's that set of 100 different arrows that you made.
Yeah.
And like that just kind of goes back to a thing that I've always believed in as a DM, that marshals can be so much better if you just let them have that Batman Green Arrow utility.
Right?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Please, after you.
Our barbarian, he got a lightning javelin. I don't remember how he got it, if he bought it or stole it or whatever. But he has this lightning javelin, and he's so happy to have a ranged option.
Right.
They gave him the ability to recall it as a bonus action, and then use his extra attack to throw it again.
Oh, that's great.
He loves it.
He loves it.
I love things like that. And in fact, I created the infinite quiver in response to one of my players who's playing a ranger and is now level 16. And I'm like, everyone else has all this cool shit to do, and I'm so sorry you don't. So he's been finding these magical arrows for very, very reasonable prices in magic shops as a response to that.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, because really, if you are a ranged character, like you should really have a wide variety of things that you can do. I was talking to my brother, who's also in our campaign, the other day about working with Sam to create bullets that from the pieces of fallen enemies. Like, oh, hey, these little demon claws.
Yes, he is he's our fighter who uses guns, and he wanted to become a gun mage. So I found him a class, and he's getting ready for that.
That's super cool.
I was like, if you want to try and infuse your bullets or infuse your weapons with the qualities of some enemies you fight, go ahead and try.
I love that.
It's just, we fight so many things. I mean, it's like, oh, well, you killed off this fire elemental. Why wouldn't you want to put that shit in a bullet or on an arrow,
Right.
Exploding arrow, fire bullet, incendiary rounds now. It's pretty sick.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, if I ever play a proper martial, no magic involved, trust and believe I'm going to be like that.
What I think is, I'm excited, but I'm also like, as a DM, I'm scared for his next level up. Because the gun mage can shoot magic missiles as his attacks.
Oh, my goodness. That's terrifying. From a DM perspective, any automatic hit is always scary to me.
He just shoots like 6 magic missiles, 4 of his shots, like again. Oh man, it's gonna be crazy.
It sounds overly crazy, but I wonder about that.
Yeah. I mean, each shot is relatively weak, but he's getting a lot of hits, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, 3 magic missiles, that basically equates to like a barbarian smacking somebody with a D12 great axe or some shit,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I am forever scared of the magic missile spell after I gave one of my players the ring of finger guns, which you can use a little bonus action to say pew pew, and a magic missile flies out and hits a target of your choosing. So just one. So it's a 1d4 plus 1. And it has been used to kill 2 big bad evil guys in the campaign.
Is it a bonus action?
Yeah, it's a bonus action to use it.
There's just so much flavor and comedy that comes from that.
It's a fun one.
I have to remember that. I like that a lot.
You know what? Might I suggest a variant based off of Acquisitions Incorporated? They have in Acquisitions Incorporated, they have a spell called Jim's Magic Missile.
Oh.
Now, what makes Jim's Magic Missile different from regular Magic Missile is it's 2d4 plus 1. However, for each of your magic missiles, you have to roll to hit.
Oh.
And if you get a 1, the entire spell blows up in your face and you take damage.
Ooh. It may be like all the shots immediately like home in on you. Like,
well, more like you just take like a 1 or 2 damage. Like it's minimal, but there is a chance that the spell will blow up in your face.
I like this.
However, since you're rolling to hit, part of the spell specifies that you can crit.
Oh.
Nice.
You can crit with multiple magic missiles.
Yeah, so it's like boom, crit, boom, boom. Like if you combine this with the whole finger gun ring, it's like bam, with a chance of blowing up in your face. Like that's kind of hilarious.
That's pretty awesome. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I love that. I'm a big fan of Nat 1s destroying things and causing chaos.
Yeah.
So much. But I love it. I think it's a great way to just have terrible things happen.
Not to talk about the gun mage thing too much, but I've always loved the idea of magic and enchanted guns, like,
yeah.
I think regular guns are kind of whatever, but like magic guns are kind of
I mean, that's my reaction to anything Harry Potter. It's like, where are the American wizards at with their 6 shooters that are just kind of loaded up with infinite ammo of enchanted bullets?
I could see that. Like, honestly, why not?
Like, seriously, an American wizard could fan the hammer and fire off more spells than Voldemort can
Yeah.
in like half a second.
I could definitely see, since we are kind of talking about, Star Wars and stuff, talk about Harry Potter a little bit. If I could see, the American branch, for example, being the kind of spellcasters that were rapid fire casting spells. Maybe they're not individually powerful spells like maybe the British would be, but they're firing off attacks one after another.
Yeah, like I was saying with the fan the hammer example, like holy shit, you could legit take out someone like Voldemort, no problem, just like bam, before he can even finish the Avada of his Cadabra.
I could definitely imagine them being like very high class battle mages.
I'm just picturing a 6-shooter with like a very long chamber, and each one of the areas where the cartridges goes is filled with just has a wand in it. And I know there's better ways to do it, but it's so funny, the idea of shooting out an entire wand at someone that just breaks and explodes.
I always imagine it like each cylinder, like how like in typical Harry Potter fashion, like it's just like, oh, everything's super big on the inside, and it's just like an entire storage unit worth of bullets, and each of these bullets is enchanted with a specific spell. So each chamber is a certain spell, and they're just like a storage unit's worth of bullets for that spell.
And then one time it comes out and says, you haven't paid your taxes on the storage unit where these are kept. You are required to pay this much gold before you can shoot any more bullets.
Well, magic taxes, it's time to rise up. Ain't no magic tolls getting me.
Yeah. Let's cast Fireball.
I mean, isn't that the story of Star Wars on this wonderful Revenge of the Sixth? Fuck the government.
I mean,
Oh,
come
man.
to the overall theme of this episode. Fuck the government.
I guess so. This is the anarchy episode, apparently.
My favorite episode. Yeah. I'm excited I could be here for this one.
Yeah, he was at ground zero. That's it. That's the guy, officer.
I gotta ask, I don't know much about Star Wars, but I know there is definitive sides, right? There's Anakin, there's Obi-Wan, Yoda, Sith, dark side, whatever. What side are you on?
Ooh, personally, I'm on whatever side the Wookiees are on, because
Yeah,
they are having a blast.
They're just vibing out, man.
Yeah.
That's a very reasonable take, honestly. I've always just kind of favored the whole gray Jedi situation, because like they're not talked about like most of the time. And legit, the Grey Jedi, their whole thing, they're like Switzerland. Like, they're just kind of like, they stay out of shit. They're not too much dark side, too much light side. They're just like, we're just going to kind of like vibe and live our lives. And like, we do some Jedi shit from time to time, but ain't no big deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're very like, just do what we think is right.
Yeah. And
where's the Qui-Gon movie? When's that coming out? Or TV series? I want some of that.
Now that's something that'd be worth a watch. Because like Qui-Gon was very adversarial to the Jedi Council.
Yeah.
And really like the whole Jedi thing is very, very culty.
Yeah.
It is very culty.
And then the whole Sith situation's like the Sith function, like they're not that bad in my opinion. But the reason that they can't function is because they're chaotic evil. Mm-hmm. And just like in traditional D&D, chaotic evil, when you have more than one or two people that are chaotic evil, someone's going to stab someone in the back. That's why they got the rule of 2. There can only ever be 2 Sith at a given time, master and apprentice. And even then, someone stabbing the other in the back is just like, you're supposed to be allies? Like, how is this sustainable?
So from what I understand, the Sith are this conquering government, right?
Not quite.
Not quite, because I mean, I thought they were kind of like, or at least Darth Vader's whole deal was he was like a conquering government, you know.
Well,
kind of went to kind of take over.
There's like a prophecy deal where like
prophecy. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a prophecy and there was a chosen one, and the chosen was supposed to bring balance to the Force. But then Yoda's like, yo, that's not a very good idea because the light side of the Force has had it too good for too long. If you train this kid, he's going to bring balance. And I don't think you balance is what you want here.
So let me get this right. So the Greys are Switzerland.
Yeah.
The light side is apparently Canada. And the dark side is
That's right.
Sorry
Cuba.
for living in these places. Cuba. Sorry for living.
What?
In these places,
were you gonna say Mexico? Hell no. The Sith are like Cuba. Fucking Fidel Castro of being like, oh hey, there can only be one, and my way or the get the fuck dead way.
Hey, look, we all acknowledge the comparison where my brain was like, obviously Germany because.
Well, to be fair, the Empire had a lot of World War II inspiration, and there's a lot of common themes and similarities because that's where a lot of the inspiration was driven from.
Yeah.
Oh, stormtroopers take their inspiration from it.
Exactly. Yeah. So where did the Gungans come into this?
Let's see. The Gungans.
Yeah.
Okay, you ever hear of a little country called Italy?
Yeah.
So at the world stage, if anime hasn't steered me wrong, Italy is just kind of universally known for like not really being competent and getting shit done. Like, sure, they had Mussolini and Rome and shit, but like during the last century, like Italy, they might have been a part of the Axis powers, but like they weren't really getting much done. They went and harassed North African tribes and were getting their asses handed to them as soon as a real army showed up.
Look, I think Italy, like they did all this stuff. Now they're just kind of chilling out, you know. They're just kind of like, we're just gonna stay to ourselves. Like, y'all can do your own thing.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But like, the Gungans were just kind of like chilling, vibing. They didn't really get much done, and like, then all of a sudden they show up and they're like, hey, we're Gungans.
Okay, so wait, hold on, I have a question. I don't know what the hell a Gungan is, but okay, so Grievous is a droid, right?
No, it's actually a mech suit.
He's a mech. There's a person in there.
There's some little alien dude in it, I think.
I think he's like he's like some sort of cyborg, but I'm not positive.
What? I always thought that like he was just like a fucked up droid. You know?
No.
They like did something to him that like made him like sentient. Like
it's straight like some Gundam stuff going on there.
Oh, it's like five.
Yeah, and then like because it's like all robotic and stuff, he can have the hands just start spinning like saw blades. No wonder the man's so dangerous.
So this lives rent free in my mind. You know, the moment in the Clone Wars where like Grievous steps out for the first time and he like whips out the 4 arms and the sabers and just starts spinning them. That scene was so crazy to me as a kid. I was like,
I'll give you that. It's straight terrifying.
It's amazing. I've heard like they go really deep into his backstory in like the Clone Wars TV show. I have not seen it, but I've heard like he has so many arcs and everything. I'm so excited.
He does, and it's great. One of my favorite things about the Clone Wars TV show is that they spend so much time making sure that he doesn't meet up with Anakin because of the second movie.
Yeah. With there he says we meet at last or something like that.
Yeah, and because of that one line, they could not, under any circumstance, be written to be in the same room with each other. No matter how close they came to it.
Oh my gosh. They accidentally have them meet, and then both of them get bonked over the head with like lightsaber frying pans, and they get amnesia, so they don't remember it, and like that's how they explain it away.
I love the idea of lightsaber frying pans. You know, there's a 5e version of Star Wars, and I feel like that's something that more people need to check out. The classes seem pretty cool. Force powers are just kind of anyone that's if you pick a force sensitive class, you can use them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, it's light side abilities, dark side abilities. If you use these enough, it'll change your alignment. Okay. Give me that lightning.
Yeah, honestly, like, if I had to pick one, obviously I want the lightning. Like,
I don't know. How is lightning more dark side and unethical than these are not the droids you're looking for?
look, lightning is painful. It's black. Can't look at the black lightning and say it doesn't look sinister.
Maybe it's because you have to have like rage. Like you have to pour your like real raw hate and rage into the lightning to make it.
Push your hate.
How is it that Palpatine never learns? Because every single time he dies, it's because of the lightning being reflected back to him. And it's happened like 3 times.
Hey, man, Old Faithful, you know?
Yeah.
You know, he's probably just one of those guys like he really likes lightning.
I mean, you would like get some resistance to it by now. Like do some training or something.
Well,
I never really understood his end goal. Like, what do you want, dude? Like, yeah, sure. Empire's under your control. What now?
Well, his backstory is that he went through a bunch of tolls, and so that's when he started using that lightning.
He's had enough. That's what
It explains everything.
Yeah.
That galaxy in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It was me the whole time.
You're General Palpatine.
General. Damn. Well, you see, I've been told that I'm an angry person. So,
future you is if you're destined to build a star fleet or whatever and conquer planets or something just because you hate tolls, do what you gotta do.
Well, you know, sometimes you have to ruin an entire government structure to break a few eggs.
Hell yeah. Some would say it's not that serious, but tolls are the foundation of what's wrong with America.
I'm pretty sure that's why we have gun violence.
Yeah, if we get rid of tolls, that will stop the gun violence for sure. Replace it all with wands. How hard is it? Give everyone swords. Take away every gun, melt it down, make it a sword.
Look, I'm all for it.
Given the chance, if I had like a genie wish, I would wish for like everyone in the world to have access to ki the way that they do in Dragon Ball Z.
Incredible.
So it's like if anyone wants to get any good with it, they'll have to take the time to kind of like learn it, but it's not like objectively too hard. You just have to like take some time to work at it. So there's a barrier of entry of effort. So while there's so many lazy people in the world, I'll be out here having put in some effort and have something for myself.
You're gonna be the main
And then
character.
like as a caveat of the wish, it's like everyone's got their own energy signature, like a fingerprint. So if you go and kill somebody, it's going to be pretty obvious who did it because we'll just check your energy signature.
Oh my goodness. Now I feel the need to rewatch Dragon Ball Z. It has been years. And all I remember is that there was 4 episodes of charging up a spirit bomb. And then I think it missed. Spoiler alert. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, the show's like 30 years old. It's fine.
Dude, is there a spirit bomb equivalent in D&D?
There is
The 9th
now.
level spell that broke everything. Or that 10th level spell, sorry. That broke the magic.
Oh yeah.
That was just a
Well,
big
I
spirit
know lightning bolt is the equivalent of the Kamehameha because, you know, it's all lightning and plasma, and it's like 5 feet wide by like 60 feet or more. So that's a straight beam. And the cool thing is in D&D, if you can straight combine it with Misty Step to do the instant Kamehameha. So you run at somebody, you're charging up your lightning bolt, and then you Misty Step away. They're like, "What? Where'd he go?" Behind you, and then lightning bolt, boom, got him.
Like jump above them, Misty Step.
Well, I would do it above them because, like, if you do it just right, you can land on them right after you're done blasting them.
Exactly. Imagine how cool that would look. I would give you an inspiration point for that.
Yeah.
There's delayed blast fireball, which you cast it and then you can like wait up to a minute, and for every like turn, it like adds a d6 to the damage. But if they just like kept it going, and so you could concentrate for more than a minute, like an hour or something, and it just keeps adding 1d6.
Yeah, if that was radiant damage, then that's the spirit bomb right there.
We go.
You could change it to radiant damage somehow.
If you combined that with the thing that I set up in one of my previous games as a homebrew rule, where casters can pool their spell slots.
Ooh. Terrifying.
It's like, yeah, share your energy with me.
I don't see why not.
Oh, one of these days I'm going to release some of my magic homebrew on the Patreon because I have some fun rules that I want to share with everybody. But they just need a little bit more workshopping.
Ooh, do you have a preview for us?
Well, like I said, I'm a big fan of spell slot sharing.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had my notebook for it on me at the moment, but basically, like, say you got two spellcasters that know the same spell, right?
Yeah.
Well, they can pool their spell slots to, like, if they're able to make contact with each other, they both know the spell, just straight cast a more powerful version of it, upcast, plus a bonus based off of what their synchronization is. Yep. So, have you ever seen Soul Eater?
I haven't.
Soul Resonance!
Yes, that's the one, Soul Resonance. Basically, Soul Resonance is where two characters in the show will, they kind of like synchronize their soul's wavelengths.
Ooh, okay.
And that creates a feedback loop. And the feedback loop makes their spiritual power magnify. Well, this is basically like the same thing. Like, say you would normally upcast a spell, and that's that. Well, in this case, the upcast would have additional damage or effect.
Okay, I like that. I think it's very fun to when you get players, especially spellcasters, to work together. That's a very fun mechanic.
Like something I was just thinking of, like if Ezra were, for example, were to cast like a fireball, you know, and then you would have our warlock Ezra assist you, you know, they could turn it like into a black flame. I think that'd be really fucking cool.
Ooh,
yeah.
Combining spells. I do like that because a lot of people are like, hey, we want to do this, but how often do players actually say, hey, can we do this?
Like you look at your sheet and you're like, I have these options.
And that's why homebrew rules like that are kind of, like sometimes you got to put it out there so the players know that it's a possibility.
Yeah. Like you don't, like people, I mean, players, they look at their sheet and they're like, okay, I can do this, this, and this. They don't look at the other players and think like, you know what can we do together?
Yeah. And I developed a few different homebrews that function on that, and that's where a mechanic that I came up with called synchronization dice comes in. Yeah. So, you know how sometimes when you're playing, you get a point of inspiration and then you do something else inspirational. Maybe it's teamwork or role play, for example. And your DM wants to give you more inspiration, but you only get one inspiration point. That's where synchronization dice come into play. If you do something that your DM says, hey, you know what? That's good teamwork. You're really synchronizing with the party. Add another synchronization die to your sheet. Right?
Yeah.
And with synchronization dice, whenever you try to do a move that involves you and another person working together, like the spell slot example, or certain maneuvers for marshals, these are all like teamwork maneuvers, like in one way or another.
Throwing a party.
Yeah.
You're going to make a synchronization check. So if you get mid-range, then it's probably going to be a success. I don't have it right in front of me, but like once you get into the upper ranges of the score, because both players are going to roll a percentile, D100.
Ooh, damn. Okay.
And your goal is to get those rolls as close to each other to be the same as possible.
Okay. That makes so much sense. Oh my god.
Yeah. So they're going to make their initial roll. They can spend inspiration or synchronization dice to decrease the gap.
So essentially, like I could have a barbarian throw a druid who has vampiric touch up at a dragon and have them work together in that sense.
Yeah. It makes it so that like more hype team moments can happen. Nice. You don't have to have like a bunch of other rolls. It's like, okay, this is a synchronization check. So fun. You get, and if you get 100, okay, maximum possible, double damage, extra benefit to the situation. Good stuff. Like, okay, double damage, pretty good. And I think I had some other stuff written down. Like I was working on this last summer.
There's a lot of room for your DM to get really creative too.
Oh, absolutely. And there is a chance for things to fail if your synchronization is below a certain threshold.
Like if you're too far off from each other.
Yeah, it's like, and that's going to happen when you get bad rolls and don't have any dice to decrease the gap.
Okay. That's awesome.
That's why the sync dice are important, because it encourages the team to work as a team to earn these sync dice so that they are able to better have these combo power moves. Kind of like how in a lot of RPG and video game type situations, like I think one of the Naruto games, like Clash of Ninja Revolution, did it very well, where if you combine certain characters, they do a special jutsu.
Yes, they had the team jutsu or whatever it was called, team ability.
Yeah, and they're always very interesting, and that's kind of what I'm going for here. Like the players can develop their own playbook.
All right. You know, it was very interesting when I had my essentially my Alphonse character, who was able to deconstruct himself and essentially have a party member wear him and gain his effects and abilities.
That's very cool.
Yeah. And it was just like, my head, I was like, they're a magical girl. Like,
in his head, he was thinking that. I did not know that when I created the boots of flying that were a faulty item given to him by the boss. And now, as a suit of armor, he doesn't have a gender.
Yeah.
However, these boots of flying are pink and will turn the wearer into a woman. Nice. Mostly male party. So the surprise was like, oh, he would have him on for a few sessions or something. And then like when someone goes to merge with him, magical girl transformation. Surprise.
all of that. I played an armorer, artificer. So
Ooh.
build like Don are like always wearing armor, and like it's underneath like his suit or whatever he's wearing. It's undetectable. And that just like rules is written for it. And it's like you can take it on or off as an action. And so every time I was like, hold on, I got to get ready. And he would always do a magical girl transformation.
That's so funny.
It was a lot of fun.
I think we're looking at the time here. Now is a good time to take a short break.
Nice.
We'll go ahead and get into the
You
monster
sure?
deep
Because
dives.
I think we got some good momentum going here.
Think so? Hey, 45
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Alright.
So, Sam, what's our monster this week?
So for the specialness of the occasion, may the six be with you or whatever. I am talking about the Rancor today.
All right.
Yeah, and then I thought it'd be pretty interesting. I was looking at the Rancor, and I was planning to talk about the Tyrannosaur this episode too. And I was like, you know what? What if we pit them against each other?
All right.
It'd be pretty
Like
cool.
when I think of a Rancor, I think of like those giant like ogre things, like some Lord of the Rings type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they essentially look kind of like that. Very just brutish and reptilian-like almost. Teeth. I'll go over the description in a minute. Yeah, they're pretty cool. And I mean, for someone who doesn't know pretty much anything about these or much of Star Wars lore, it was pretty cool to read.
I already off the bat, the Rancor wins for me just because of the handler. That guy who I don't know if you've seen it, but when the Rancor dies and he comes out and he's crying, and it's just like, why did you include this? It's so heartbreaking. Like, the monster was gonna kill him. He didn't have a choice.
Oh.
And it's just so emotionally devastating.
That's so funny. No. Rancors were large, semi-sentient reptilian carnivores native to the planet Dathomir. Although also present on Felucia, Rancors were often seen as mindless, violent creatures due to their extensive use as fighters across the galaxy. So, standing around 5 meters tall, with their long arms, immense jaws, and armored hides that could withstand blast or fire, they were formidable predators. A subspecies known as the jungle rancor populated the planet Felucia. Rage rancors were taller and had an even nastier temperament than an average rancor. Shadow rancors were notorious for their penchant for destruction, gaining their name for their black skin. The proper term for a group of rancors in Galactic Basic Standard was a crash of rancors.
A crash
Ooh.
of Rancors?
That's so fun.
I thought that was
Crash
cool.
of them. Like,
Let's just use that for other stuff in D&D.
yeah.
Like, how often do we like, oh, did you know a big group of goblins is called a slaughter?
Is that what they're actually called?
I don't know, but that sounds cool.
Make it up. What is a group? It's called?
I love
Oh, the
different-
horde.
A horde of goblins. Oh, that.
No, it's a horde of orcs.
The horde. Oh, I love like the fun little names for things like gaggle of geese, pride of lion, and my favorite, a kaleidoscope of butterflies. Isn't that
Ooh.
just delightful?
I love that.
That is. It's kind of like how if you get a group of ravens is an unkindness,
Ooh.
Interesting.
and then a big group of crows is a murder.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we need more of that for D&D stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
could you imagine your players are just kind of like chilling, vibing in the tavern. Then all of a sudden someone bursts through the doors. Oh no, we got a problem. Oh, what is it? There's an entire ruckus of gnolls just outside of town. They're coming this way.
That sounds
Oh,
so
shit.
accurate.
A whole ruckus, you say? That is serious.
Is it a ruckus
Yeah.
or a baker's ruckus? You know.
Oh,
The guy sits there, ponders for a moment. It might be 2 ruckuses.
oh no, there's at least 13.
It's a double ruckus.
A ruck-eye, if you will.
Rock guy. Oh, man.
That's beautiful. I love it.
So, Rancors responded to a social hierarchy where an alpha was dominant over other Rancors unless defeated. Despite their extremely intimidating appearance, the creatures were inherently benign and were domesticated by the witches of Dathomir, but could be provoked over time and into a violent nature. The dirty teeth of the Rancor were cleaned by birds. Rancors would eat anything that were capable of getting their hands on, and Rancors were often bred for fighting. However, when domesticated, they could be very loving to their owners.
Was Luke
Wait
the
a
bad
minute,
guy?
Sam. You're telling me that like Ventress and Darth Maul could be just chilling with their pet Rancor?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Cuddling up, maybe. Give them little pets.
Ventress with her pet Rancor. Don't you know that Rancors are a woman's best friend?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's a guard dog you don't want to fuck with. Like,
I'm just imagining one as like a guard dog, but it's very peaceful, like just like a lab, and someone like runs in and kills it, and like it's just like, why would you do that? It was just a Rancor.
yeah,
Like,
you just
exactly,
taking a
it's a
nap.
Rancor.
I'm just thinking of all the women that would just be out there in their Rancor activist groups on space Facebook, all like, the Rancors they're not mean, they're just misunderstood.
Hey, I'd
No,
be
they're
there
the-
with them on Facebook. I'd
Yeah,
be like,
honestly.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, they're the pit bulls of the Outer Rim.
Oh yes, I love pit bulls. We at Dungeons and Talkshows supports pit bulls and Rancors. Rancors
I mean,
are
they're
friends, not evil.
they're built different, so it makes sense.
No Rancors were harmed in the recording of this podcast
Yeah, yeah.
yet.
So
They could be.
the jungle Rancor subspecies lived on the world of Felucia, like I said before. After the destruction of Felucia Medical Station, HCTFF2, Jedi General Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin, and Ahsoka saw a group of such Rancors on the planet. While they were careful not to scare the creatures, the jungle Rancors lived a relatively peaceful coexistence with the native Felucian farmers.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Get that coexistence going on.
right. It's good to know that they could just kind of, hang out.
So I kind of did the mental math while you were talking about that. And I think a Rancor measures in about the same size as a hill giant.
Well, they said, what was that? 5 feet or so?
You said like 5 meters. And
Oh, yeah, 5
each
meters.
meter is roughly the same as a yard, give or take like a couple small measurements, centimeters, inches, or whatever. So that's about 3 feet. So 3 times 5 is 15. That
Wow.
puts it in the same size class.
Hmm. Let's see.
That'd be a huge creature.
Tyrannosaurus is about 12.3 to 12.4 meters, ranging about 40 feet in length.
40
They
feet
were-
versus 15 feet. Wow.
Yeah, they
that,
were big old boys.
I mean, what are they going to do with those little tiny arms?
Nothing.
See,
Oh,
the
boy.
Rancor's just a sweet little baby boy, and it has to be protected. So I'm still on Team Rancor. But
And I was thinking about this while I was reading through these sheets and stuff, and I think I will try to come up with a stat block for a Rancor, or at least some base stat ideas.
ooh,
You know what? We could toss that on the Patreon this month.
We could.
Get the homebrew Rancor via Sam.
Moving over into the Tyrannosaurus. In the Forgotten Realms, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, sometimes and probably called a Fang Titan Drake or a Gnasher in the living jungle of the Malatrian Plateau, was a carnivorous species of dinosaur. Tyrannosauruses were enormous predators, with large heads that measured 6 feet, 1.8 meters long, with teeth that were 3 to 6 feet in length. Despite their enormous size, they were known to be fast runners. So there wasn't really, much on them. They were kind of just a creature in the Forgotten Realms. But I was kind of interested. I was looking for the Tyranno race. If you remember when I played that Tricera.
You know what? I remember that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Even though that campaign fizzled out like most campaigns do.
Right.
And I would like to take a brief moment of silence for all of those campaigns out there that our listeners have to suffer through that fizzle out. Moment done.
Please, you will be missed.
Oh my goodness.
Talking about dinosaurs. Fuck yeah! Alright, so Tyrannosaurus is a genius.
You've been waiting on that fuck yeah for weeks.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love
This is
dinosaurs.
the most excited I've heard you so far, so I'm very excited. I'm here with you. Let's do it.
So, T-Rexes is a genus of large theropod dinosaur. The species, Tyrannomonorex, meaning king in Latin, often called T-Rex, or colloquially T-Rex, is one of the best represented theropods and the most popular, obviously. Jurassic Park, every cartoon ever created about dinosaurs, blah, blah. We all know
Yeah.
what these boys look like.
Yeah, I remember. I used to watch Dino Trucks.
Oh man, what was that show? If you remember, it was kind of like a dinosaur Pokemon, but they had like.
Oh,
Digimon?
ew! Don't bring up Dinosaur King.
But I love that show. Dinosaur King went
No.
hard.
Oh, that show is cancer.
Look, if you're listening right now and you like Dinosaur King, leave a rating or a comment below backing me up.
And if you enjoy your Saturday mornings in childhood and want to forget Dinosaur King, you could back me up and leave a rating on the show here. Hopefully a
Back in the day,
positive
we
one.
had Sonic X, we had like Kirby.
Okay,
we had
I can't knock
Dinosaur
Sonic
King,
X.
We had Yu-Gi-Oh! They were lit. The days were amazing.
Dude, all you need is Ultimate Muscle.
What is that?
Was that before your time, sir?
I don't know what Ultimate Muscle is.
I mean, neither.
Well, it's an anime that they used to air on the Saturday morning blocks on certain stations because they had like Sonic X and stuff. But like when I was a kid, like real early in the morning, they'd slip Ultimate Muscle right next to Mew Mew Power.
What the hell is Mew Mew Power?
I believe the original name is Tokyo Mew Mew. It's a magical girl anime, but they're all like cats.
I think I've vaguely heard of it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like a magical cat girl anime.
Ah,
Ooh.
So you get that Power Rangers aesthetic because like there's different colors. You got a whole team. They're all kind of cat girl ish and maid dressed up magical girls. You get the whole deal.
I bet you do.
The things that stick with us over the years, a permanent spot in the brain.
Listen, when I was growing up, I would get up so early for the Saturday morning cartoons. I'd be watching bullshit infomercials, waiting with my bowl of cereal.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna ask you to remember this one. Chaotix.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, let's go. Chaotix went hard.
Chaotic had no business being as good as it was.
Oh, man.
Which rings no
But then it
bells for me,
was.
unfortunately. I did not grow up with television, so I missed out on a lot of shows that were airing.
It's okay.
Well, like I just had like whatever stations the antenna would pick up.
Yeah.
And like I was living in a trailer where like they had this thing called a rotary, right?
Mm.
And the rotary is a little dial box that's hooked up to the antenna outside. Real old machine, probably went back like 30, 40 years. Barely functional. You turn it and it would send signals to a little turning mechanism that was attached to the antenna on top of the house, and that you'd use that for tuning the signal.
Oh, interesting. I've truly never heard of this before. This is so cool.
Yeah, I had a very strange childhood for being like, I'm 28 right now.
Nice.
So it's just like, most people my age would not know anything about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, cool. I was wondering how old everyone was. I'm 29. So
I'm
we're
25.
5. Okay, cool. We're all like roughly the same age. Oh God, I'm the oldest person in the room. Don't like that.
I'll give it a few months. I'll be 29 as well.
Listen up, young whippersnappers. I'll give you advice now.
You know, I'm gung ho for some advice. Let's hear it.
I don't think I have anything. Be kind to yourself, and I guess eat vegetarian because it's inexpensive and healthy. You know, try and get those plant-based things in your diet and drink water. I think that's all I have in me.
So I gotta ask, did you become vegetarian? Like, were you always vegetarian?
I became vegetarian in college to impress this girl, and it did not work out. But I kept the lifestyle because it was a lot less expensive than eating meat.
Sure.
And so I've kept it over the years because I don't know. It's just I'm a creature of habit. Once I start something, I usually don't stop, unfortunately.
That makes sense. And like, honestly, meat in this economy, it's
right.
Like, who can afford that?
Yep.
Half the reason that I even have meat in my fridge is just that someone went out and, oh, hey, this was reduced like by a lot. We're going to get that.
Nice.
And then after that, there's the goat meat because we had a goat slaughtered not too long ago.
Nice. Hey, that's a as much as I'm a vegetarian, I'm very pro a good deal. If you can get a whole animal like slaughtered at once, I think it's get a lot of stuff out of it.
Do you ever have times where you kind of miss meat a little bit? Maybe like where you're craving a burger, you know?
Yeah, there's like a lot of good like imitations and things. I was cooking turkey for my friend, and he so I packed up the turkey for him, sent him to go, and I realized like, oh, there's just like a little bit left on the cutting board, and I was just gonna throw it out, so I had it, and I'm like, this is the best. I haven't had this in so long. So
it's amazing how habits go, because like,
yeah.
There's nothing really stopping you necessarily.
Exactly.
You're like, it's all willpower.
Yeah. It is the deep sadness of being a vegetarian. Yeah.
Yeah, like I respect the lifestyle. I don't know if I could do it.
That's what I hear the most. I do not blame anyone for not wanting to do it because it's not as fun, but hey, I still eat cheese. Love that cheese.
Yeah.
Can't get enough of it.
Cheese is a must.
Yeah, fair enough. I definitely couldn't do it because like I'm diabetic. Like I kind of like meat is like, oh hey, meat's got no carbs. Let's go.
We've gone from Rancors to T-Rexes to cheese. Here at Dungeons and Talkshows, we have a wide variety.
Well, I think as much as my vote here is on the Tyrannosaur, because it just seems to me that as brutish as a Rancor is, it could just like chomp it.
You know, I agree that maybe in a battle of combat, the Tyrannosaur would win, but in a battle of love and hearts, the Rancor is going to win. So I will bet on the Rancor.
Will the Rancor seduce the T-Rex?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, damn.
I do have a little bit on the ecology and their stats.
Oh.
Okay.
So the stats were strength of a 25, dexterity of a 10, constitution of 19, intelligence of 2, wisdom of 12, charisma of 9. And they were a challenge rating 8.
You know what?
I
A Rancor might be able to beat that just off of intelligence alone.
Yeah, I'm thinking it would probably be relatively similar, except they do seem to be more intelligent. If they can, form societies of some kind, like
Like pit bulls.
like Pitbull, the rapper.
Wait, that's a rapper?
Is he?
I'm white. I don't know this. I don't know this shit.
Is Pitbull a rapper? I don't know.
Pitbull is
Mr.
a rapper.
Worldwide.
Pitbull is a musical artist, yes.
Mr. Worldwide.
Is that like the artist formerly known as Prince?
No.
Oh, honey.
This would be a great moment to break. Like, it's Prince.
Oh, just to be clear, I do know better. I just think Prince is funny for being the rapper, or not the rapper, it being the artist formerly known as Prince.
Prince was a rapper? Like,
if not, he should have been.
oh man, that'd be
You think he couldn't slap some lines after singing Raspberry Beret?
Oh, absolutely. I bet he'd have bars. Like,
Prince was like proficient in a shit ton of instruments and various types of music. I have no doubt in my mind if he put his effort towards rap, he'd nail it.
Prince was absolutely the level 20 bard that we all thought he was.
oh yes.
Oh, for sure. So I guess the next thing that some of our listeners are going to want to know is like tell us a little bit about some of the homebrews. Like I see you've done like different sets of homebrews on your website.
Sure, yeah. I release everything I create for free. So anything that I create is on my website, BJHypes.com. There's me plugging it. So I've got the Infinite Quiver coming out. So it's 100 arrows, and so I'm releasing usually one a week. Those last couple weeks, work's been pretty busy. And here's the thing: they're all already made, and I just have to post them on the internet, and I'm too lazy to do that.
You should get like a bot that just kind of like auto posts.
See, that's a great idea. Ask an AI to do it for me.
We have a guy on our server that manages all our AI stuff, and it's pretty amazing, really.
It's so interesting to see like what it can do and how it's gonna shape, especially like the world of homebrew.
Oh, for sure.
See what some other projects I got on there. The Final Walk. I don't know if either of you watched The Last of Us.
The show?
Yeah.
I have not, but I've heard it's really good.
I've heard a lot of things. I think the most notable thing I heard about The Last of Us is just like the third episode was like, or something was like a just random, really in-depth gay backstory.
It was,
and it's just
it was like this very like, honestly, I think one of my favorite episodes of television, because it starts off very slow and then immediately like just crying the entire time. And I'm a hard cry at a lot of like TV and movies and things, but like throughout the whole thing, just like crying. It's just such a good story. It was basically like its own little movie. But I highly recommend it. If you like good storytelling, The Last of Us is very, very good.
Oh yeah.
I guess my question on that one is like, is that a situation where it's kind of like stand on its own, but like does it really fit with the rest of it? Because like I hear from a lot of people that it just kind of came out of left field.
It very much ties into the story, but it is sort of its own isolated section. So it's a little bit like in a game when you go to a new level, and it's like, okay, here's something new, but it's still part of the larger whole. And I think it does a great service to the game because there's just like some pieces in the game that they hinted at, but they didn't really get into, of like the backstory of these two people, and they gave it a much nicer ending than was in the game without spoiling too much. I don't know if y'all played the game either.
I haven't, because I'm just a filthy casual that doesn't play as much as I could because I'm a parent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But from what you're saying, it sounds to me like I've seen bits of this episode that you're talking about.
Yeah.
It seems to me kind of like the Iroh episode leaves, like the whole leaves from the vine thing in Avatar: The Last Airbender, where it's like it's a short story, a one-off. It gets you emotionally going, but like isn't really too relevant to the rest of the plot.
Yeah, it's definitely more bookended in terms of important. I would say, like, is it in terms of like the stories of the two characters going along? Is it important? Maybe not, but in terms of like the larger like narrative and feeling that the show is trying to tell. This is just also me fanning over Craig Mazin, who created it and is just one of the best screenwriters and creators of all time, in my humblest opinion. It definitely is very important to that larger whole. I highly recommend giving it a watch, because even the first episode has some like the best scenes in television. As of 2022, 2023. Oh yeah, it's 2023. As of 2023.
As the time of this recording.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say that it definitely sounds like it would hit out of left field for a lot of people then. Like, some people are like, oh, I want to follow these two characters and just these two characters. Then all of a sudden you get smacked with this. It's just like, I wanted all this other action. Why the fuck am I crying over the Notebook?
For those people, I'd say watch it, and if they feel that way after watching it, I will fully concede. But oh my goodness, all it left me is wanting to know more about these other characters. So in order, like, basically, I loved the show so much and like the story there that I wanted to turn it into D&D. So I created this adaptation of D&D called The Final Walk, which is basically you can play D&D, but it's all these rules and systems and stat blocks and like 40 pages of lore and rules and notes and items and equipment to basically let you play D&D in a zombie apocalypse type setting.
Okay, so it's basically a play setting then.
Love that.
Yeah, play setting. There's new rules for like how do you like throw a grenade or like a Molotov cocktail? Like how do you what are like the new skills you need? Because like there's no real need for Arcana or religion skills in this world where there isn't an actual like deities that communicate with the world or like actual magic. So like what skills, like now there's an engineering skill that replaces Arcana. So yeah, that's called The Final Walk. And I was very proud of how it turned out, and it took me maybe 200 hours to put together. So if anyone is interested in playing or playtesting, it's on my website.
That sounds awesome.
I know a third-party supplement that would pair very well with that. That's called Ultra Modern.
Ultra Modern. I feel like I've heard about this, but I don't know too much.
Yeah, it's 5th edition compatible, and Ultra Modern, like, not really magic. It's just you have a bunch of base classes, and feats are like on a progression.
Yeah.
Basically, you got it takes place in a post-apocalyptic Fallout style future. There's robots, there's bandits, there's zombies, maybe some monsters, some alien shit here and there, energy weapons, guns galore, vehicles. It's all 5e and 5e compatible.
Yeah.
And it seems like it would pair very well with what you put together, because like there's some stuff that's built into it that's basically the same as what you're going for, but it seems like they would be very complementary to each other, because you'd be covering up some things that weren't exactly gone into as in depth because they were going for like a more broad type setting. And then like maybe things that you didn't have the time to kind of dig into, boom, if you shove those together, you got yourself like a really like big zombie post-apocalyptic thing that takes place in the future.
Ooh, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Hey, you
And
know,
you can really pull out the gun mage.
there we go. That's great. Yeah, it's very cool. That's one of the things I love about the, tabletop community is there's always someone who's picking up what you're putting down out there, and there's always someone who's like creating something similar or like likes it, resonates, even if something's very niche and very specific, like there's an audience for it in the tabletop community.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the things that we hear at the show. We really enjoy 5e just because it's the sandbox. It's the homebrew playground for creators. It really is. Like Wizards of the Coast is trying to change things with how they're doing 5e. Yeah. And a lot of people are not vibing with it. Yeah. Then we got all these third-party publishers like Kobold Press, and they're kind of carrying the torch of what 5e is in essence and improving it in ways that the community just generally is vibing with more. So we're going to get all these third-party people coming out with systems that are very 5e compatible. And I think on the whole, we're going to end up with a more homogenized, content varied, just amalgamation of game that's going to be something more than what we started with just the regular 5e.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely. I love how the community has come together after the whole OGL debacle and them sending the Pinkertons after people more recently.
I'm never going to get over how funny that is.
Yep. Yeah, that was a time. Yeah, because especially like I'm pretty close with a lot of these creators who are much better than me and much more popular. But I follow and support them. And just like seeing like, oh yeah, this is their entire livelihood. Like I have a day job, but a lot of these people don't. And seeing like what was happening with OGL, it was like, okay, I'm glad that they were forced to take the feedback. That's power of striking, I think the OGL might just be the best thing to happen to the community. Yeah.
Like, it brought everyone together, and now the game that we collectively love is growing and expanding. People are shifting over to Pathfinder and starting to realize that there's all these different rules that they could be enjoying. Yeah. So as more people are pushed out to other systems, then more people are developing their own independent systems that are 5e compatible or 5e adjacent.
Yeah.
We're going to see like a more homogenized think about this. Think about tabletop as the English language, the melting pot tabletop, so to speak. Because English inherently is a Germanic language, but by no means is it just simply a Germanic language. We have Greek origins, we have Latin origins, we have Germanic origins. And all these other things just keep coming into our language and incorporating stuff. And from all over the world, we're even incorporating little bits of Japanese. And I saw a statistic on this, 10% of English is being imported into the Japanese language.
That's wow. Yeah. I love how much like this world building is just inspired by all these changes happening around us. It's a very interesting moment for the tabletop community.
I agree. Love it so much.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, sometimes you have to burn down an empire to crack a few eggs.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Oh man. Yeah, I can go through some of the rest. I'm trying to think what else I had. I'm pulling up my notes. I put together, in response to the OGL thing, I co-wrote a parody, a message from Wizards of the Coast about OGL. It was very fun to see the community really take to that. Just sort of like a fun parody of Wizards of the Coast being their robotic selves.
Definitely.
I'm a big fan of parodies. Like I have a whole backlog of D&D song parodies that I have like written that I haven't done yet because I alone am not exactly the most musical talented. Only this past year has my wife stopped cringing and telling me to shut up when I sing. She's like, okay, you know what? It's okay now. I don't hate it.
Well,
It's
more
not
awful.
Not that bad.
Can we get a preview, like some of the lyrics, even if you don't want to sing?
Actually, I am more than willing to sing. I just gotta pull up one of my things here.
Oh man.
I was annoying one of our friends during a D&D session with some of this stuff.
In your generic realms, there's you kind of singing.
I'm gonna play that now. I just gotta hop on the soundboard because that segues into our next segment for promoting content creators.
Generic realm, lots of fun, excellent.
Well, I find something to sample out here for a song, Sam. Why don't you tell us about your homebrew item that you're bringing in this week?
For sure. So let me go ahead and pull it up really quick. I present to you all the Magic 20 ball.
An item I'm very familiar with.
An
I'm
odd
sure.
sphere with a 20 imprinted on it, which allows you to peek into your future. How does it get this power? Ask again later. While in possession of this item, roll a d20 at the beginning of the day. For the remainder of the day, you can replace a single d20 roll you make with this number before you roll. Alternatively, you can force this number upon another creature before they roll, as long as they are within 30 feet.
This was a fun one. The illustrations are by BJHypes. I know people are listening and not looking, but
Well, they can follow along because we're going to be putting links to all this in the description.
Ooh, fun. So this was inspired by the wizard portents. And I was looking at a Magic 8 ball, and I realized that the little thing inside was actually a D20. At least I'm pretty sure. If not,
No,
then please
you're
cut
absolutely
that.
right because I was looking in, like I noticed that a few years ago, and it always kind of fascinated me. And thanks to 3D printing and stuff of that nature, because that's kind of a side hobby I have. One of the things I'm hoping to release on our website once I start getting better at being able to produce them is I want to make these little D20 shaped Magic 8 balls, but they're like, it has an actual numbered D20 inside it.
Ooh.
So it's a liquid dice roller for your table. I mean, it's gimmicky, but I think it'd just be a little something fun to bring to the table and show off to some friends, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Gotta patent it now. Now someone's gonna make it. Oh, I'm already figuring it out how to make it and sell it on my own.
I mean, it's really just a D20 shell. All the patent information to be able to make a Magic 8 ball type thing is all out there on the internet for anyone that wants to check it out.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Well, thanks for choosing this one.
Yeah, I like that one. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the idea of imposing your abilities on other people.
Especially if you like roll a nat 1 or something like that.
Ooh.
You know, love to.
Ask again later.
Exactly. Oh man.
I was looking through the parodies here. Here's one. Another boss bites the dust.
Ooh, nice.
Player walk through the dungeon, mana's running low. Ain't no sound but the sound of the beast. Fireball's ready to go. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Out of the doorway, it's baddie strike. Better be ready to leap. Ba-da-da-dum, boom, boom. Another boss bites the dust. Ba-da-boom, boom. You get the gist.
Incredible.
I like it. Hell yeah.
my
I'm trying to get some more musically talented people to assist me with some of these.
Hey, I think you've got all the skills you need on your own. You got this.
Maybe I'll do something with it at some point. Sooner than later, because I'd like to get some of these ideas out there.
Hey, that's what the TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and that's what they're for. You record it, you send it out in the universe.
Ah. Now, that sounds like some manifest destiny type shit. I'm all on board for it.
There we go.
Manifest destiny.
Oh, man.
Sam, looking back on earlier when we were talking about the Rancor, apparently Rancor means bitterness or resentfulness.
Oh,
Ooh.
very interesting. Doesn't that kind of relate to your word of the week?
Yeah. And I still need a stinger for that because I've been very swamped this week. And this week's descriptive word is rueful. Now,
Rueful.
yeah, which basically means regretful. Like, say you see with a descriptive word for the week, we like to let DMs have a better vocabulary for when they're describing things. And, learning a few words here and there kind of helps with that. So, like, say you're describing a scene to your player. Like, there's a woman in the tavern, and she has a rueful expression on her face. Like great guilt. Something's really eating at her. Oh, wait, we better check it. Like, excuse me, are you okay?
I was thinking it was ROOFLE, and I was like, rueful, and it's RUE, as in like you'll rue the day you cross.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it took a while for the wires to connect, man. I love that.
That's fantastic.
Well, yeah, that kind of like leads you to using the word rue. Like, oh, hey, you could like kind of put some subtext and name a character rue, name a character regret.
Name a character regret?
Well, rue is a female name, dude.
Yeah, but you don't name somebody regret. Like,
I mean, you
like
do if they
maybe regret. Like,
Someone's.
I mean, you do if you don't have access to Plan B.
look.
You could name someone Rue, and their nickname could be Kanga.
Boom, got him.
Worst joke of the podcast. There we go.
Like, we were hitting the jokes hard at the start.
Really downhill from here.
Yeah.
Downhill is the best hill. And moving on to our next homebrew item for the week. Again, some of the gallery of BJHypes. Amazing stuff, because I'm loving the deck of nostalgic things. Like,
Oh yeah.
Thank you. It was very, very fun to put together. It was one of the things I did over the pandemic. It was great, and it was great to work with Bodhi on the art. And it's all free on my website at bjhypes.com.
Free shit.
free shit. Free shit? Get your free shit here. You, sir, would you like some free shit?
Oh, man.
Okay, so we got the Shoes of the Moon. Wondrous item, rare. Slightly boxy, but supremely cool. The Shoes of the Moon. Lighten your step, allowing you to double your jump distance and increase your carry weight by 100 pounds. As a bonus action, you can touch the shoes to suddenly become weightless, as though gravity has no effect on you or the items you carry. Often, this results in you being suspended in the air until you use another bonus action to touch the shoes and stop the effect. A bit of momentum, such as pushing off the ground, being roundhouse kicked in the stomach, may cause you to gently drift through the air at a speed of no more than 5 feet per round. You may often... you may be able to aim yourself in the direction with continual use of evocation magic, such as Eldritch Blast or Firebolts. Warranty does not cover replacements if you are punched into the sun.
Oh,
Buyer beware, I guess.
damn. Okay.
I mean, my inability to read aside, I'm liking this because, you know, moon shoes, the kid-powered anti-gravity shoes. Moon shoes, they're the necessity.
These are fun. I've given these 2 players in a campaign I ran that's on YouTube called Radventure. And they put them on and immediately just start drifting. And like someone like throws, just like if they're given a gentle nudge upwards, they'll just drift up into the sky in that direction until they eventually hit the sun,
no.
I suppose.
It just makes me think human kite.
There you go.
Guys.
Yeah.
So funny.
Take the big bad, paralyze him, set him adrift.
There you go.
Be gone.
Oh, goodness.
If he decides to come back down, he'll die.
Yeah, I never had moon shoes as a kid, but from what I heard, they never worked, except there was sort of a placebo where kids would jump really high.
Yes. So I remember I had a friend that had them. And I remember
Really?
like jumped off his like front stairs into like his driveway with them on. Like, and it was really funny. I mean, I can't really imagine that they really did that much.
Yeah.
No, like it just like as a kid, I enjoyed the hype of the commercial, but I never expected them to be any good. So I wouldn't harass my parents about that. It's like, looks kind of dumb. But I will never forget the first time I saw someone rolling down the school hallway with Heelys.
Oh man, I love Heelys.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that was a haunting moment because I'm just sitting there. Well, not sitting, just walking down the hall with my buddy. And all of a sudden, this chick just starts rolling down the hallway, just like a phantom in the night. It's just like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? You see that? Tegan, you seeing this shit?
So cool. God, I wish, honestly, even as an adult, I want Heelys, but like I know I'm just going to immediately faceplant. But someone came through my last office I worked at. He was one of the on-screen talent, and he would just Heely through the office sometimes. And it was always like, I was like, damn, he's cool. Oh.
You know who I would imagine would wear Heelys? Justin Roiland.
Me?
Like,
oh.
I mean, you too, sure. But like, from what I've heard, like a lot of people are like, oh, that Justin Roiland guy, he's a real asshole. He plays with a remote control car when we're trying to do Rick and Morty meetings, and he's always like throwing paper airplanes. I'm like, dude, it just sounds to me like y'all got to stick up your ass when it comes to writing and serious shit because you're in like the Writers Guild Union and getting ready to go on strike. Meanwhile, this guy's just trying to have a good time.
Ooh, we definitely have a difference of opinion on this one. I have, there's been some texts of him and 13-year-old girls that
oh no,
you may not want to hitch your carriage to that horse.
Well, I it's my firm belief that like 99% of celebrities and politicians are like pedophiles. So it's like, okay. What's another one?
Oh no.
Ruh-roh. That's yeah. Well, it's good to take them out of power when it's revealed they're doing things with 13-year-old girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know when it comes to famous people.
What do you mean?
Like, aren't all like famous people just shit?
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. There's a lot of pretty good ones out there. Mr. Rogers
probably.
was a good one. Steve Irwin, Bob Ross. Those are
Yeah, but they were all like taken too soon.
That's why they were taken so soon. What do you think?
yeah. Robin
Yeah.
Williams, excellent person. Also taken too soon, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think all the good celebrities are dead, so we're just like left with all the rest because like only the good die young because there's a song like that.
Yeah.
So that's my general opinion. That like if there's a position of power, that's just the nature of it. Someone up there is fucked. Just. I hope I'm not next. That's why we got to be like a J or H tier celebrities. As soon as you get up close to F, that's where the fuck starts happening.
What do you mean J or H tier? What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, everyone's like, oh, hey, this is an A-list celebrity or like a B-list celebrity. They're like, no, I don't even want to get close to D-list celebrity. Fuck that shit.
J or H. You're so funny.
Oh man. Yeah.
Someone's got to bring the hot takes.
There we go.
Spicy.
Another thing I think is coming too soon is the end of this episode.
Oh no.
Oh man. Well, yeah, thank you so much for having me. Very much appreciate y'all taking the time to have me on and to share some of the homebrew that I have put out in the world. Always fun to share it.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun having you on. Honestly, the thing about being a podcast is just we get to talk to so many interesting people.
Yeah.
It's
At
fun.
the end of the day, it's just we're all getting in a call and hanging out for an hour,
Exactly.
It's pretty cool to just talk to these people and get their perspective and talk about the creativity and things that they've created. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always fun to hear everyone's different approaches to the way we see some homebrew in the world.
You know what?
Please check out BJHypes.
It's dawning on me that the Justin Roiland thing might be a Michael Jackson situation all over again. Playing with toys in the office, associating with children. Dear Lord.
I'm glad you
He never actually grew up.
One.
Associating with children at all is where it starts.
Yeah. Let's we'll agree to not be terrible to our writing staff. How about that? That's something we can all agree on.
Well, don't worry. Our writing staff is all AI.
Oh no.
I think Finn will agree we're pretty good to him.
No, we take care of our people.
There you go.
Thank you to everyone for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Happy, let me scroll up again, Revenge of the 6th.
I love how like you're the odd man out when it comes to the Star Wars. Right? You're just like, hey guys, am I hip?
When you brought the idea to me, I was like, oh fuck.
It's every bit as awkward as I had hoped it would be.
Oh, great.
Podcast out.
Thanks for listening to Dungeons and Talkshows, brought to you by the Nerd Militia. Check us out on Patreon or Discord if you want to support us. And if you want to get more Nerd Militia content, you can follow us on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, and YouTube. Or really any of the usual podcasting platforms. But as always, we're nerds, so what do we know?